Hello, merry meet. So today I want to discuss the topic of circle castings within the concept of witchcraft, paganism, and so on. Now, um, a lot of those that are starting seem somewhat confused about the concept of using a circle, what function it has, do you have to do it, and so on. So I just thought I would tackle some of the more common questions that I very often get asked about this, and that I also see asked on message boards and so on. And again, with any of these topics, it's my personal experience, my personal opinion, which means that these are in no way, shape, or form the truth. It's what works for me and what I think. If you have another opinion, great. I don't think there is one hard and fast way that everybody has to follow. Okay, that out of the way, let's start. Well, first of all, I think that they take the question of what do you need to cast a circle. No. A circle is a tool, and just like with any tools, you don't need it. It can be a boon, it can be an added help, but it isn't like you can't do magic or you can't do a religious ritual without having a circle. Basically, I mean, there's a lot of people that never use circles. They do their magic and just don't bother about it. And look at all the Christians who pray. That's magic. At least to my mind, asking God for something and then having it manifest in the physical world. It's magic. And they generally don't use something that can be seen as a circle. A lot of people, a lot of, for example, kitchen witches, who are very much just get this done on the fly. And also when you look at ancient ritual texts, ancient, uh, basically old black books, old grimoires, and so on, a lot of them do not have circle casting. For example, all works on folk magic. Very seldom you have something that could be seen as a circle casting there. So, no, sorry, phone. Uh, Basically, no, you do not need to have a circle. And for me personally, I use it for bigger rituals. But for a lot of things, when I'm just doing magic on the fly, because I'm very important, for me it's very important to add magic to everyday life. So if I have a headache, I might just light a blue candle and envision my headache going into that flame and vanishing. Not gonna cast a circle and have a whole big ritual with it. But when I'm doing a sabbath or I'm doing an important ritual and so on, I will usually add a circle. When I'm with pure religious ceremonies, often I can walk outside and I look up and I see a beautiful moon, and I might then utter a small prayer to the god and the goddess. And I'm not gonna cast a big circle before I do that. But when I do a big Sabbath ritual or a Sabbath ritual and so on, then I will usually add a circle. It's a very useful tool to have. Now, another common question is, what is a circle and what does it do? Well, a circle is in very many ways two things. One is that it is a energetic barrier. And this energetic barrier has two functions. One of them is that it contains the energies you are attracting with your ritual. So that it is easier to build up energy because it's being contained. You can look at it the same way as filling a bathtub with water instead of just trying to get the water into the corner without having some container to hold it. Another, but it also protects your ritual space from other entities. Now, of course, so in the occult fiction, it's usually a demon trying to come in and eat you. But generally, it what it do is that it protects from unwanted energies. I mean, there's so many energies around us every day. Well, a circle sort of takes a bit of space and stops these energies from coming in and disrupting your ritual. So basically, one of the things a circle is, it's a magical barrier, both to keep your magic in and to keep unwanted energies out. Could it protect against aggressive spirit and so on? Yeah, it could. But generally, what it protects against is all the other energies that fly around it. Perhaps you had a fight with your husband the other day, and those energies are still around there, unless you have managed to cleanse them out. Don't want them into your ritual. Perhaps you had your nephew visit, and all of his bubbly energy that you might not want for your calm ritual to get better sleep. You might not want that in there. So it protects against that. That's one of the things that circle do. The other things a circle do is that it creates sacred space. It consecrates. So that basically, you know those consecration rituals that priests do on holy grounds, cemeteries and so on. Basically, a circle do the same thing. It's just that it is temporary for that work situation and not a general thing about the place. You know that sometimes when you walk into a cemetery or walk into a church, there's a yeah, there's a very special feeling there. There's some feeling very often of groundedness, holiness, and of calm. And you can say that's a Christian circle. Place has been consecrated. And basically what the circle do is the same thing. It creates sacred space. So that when you meet with the gods and the goddess, the energies and other deities, you have basically a holy place to work from. And that's also what the circle does. So basically what it does, it creates a barrier, and it also creates sacred space. And also if you have cleansed the area, it will protect negative influences from getting back in until you're done. Now it is possible to set up a permanent circle, and some people do that around their room they work in, and so on, to basically permanently consecrate it, much more like a church. But most often circles are not permanent and only last for that working. And then another common question is there a special size that you have to have it? No. However, as it is energy, it's made with energy that you have to generate. There is, unless you are the most powerful witch in the whole of the universe, is a limit to how big you will be able to make it. And I like to make it just big enough for my workspace. So, yeah, but really, I mean, in some traditional books, it says the circle should be just this big, you have to measure it out with a cord that is this big, and so on and so forth. But really, well, a lot of these numbers have symbolic value and can add to the ritual. And really, what you'll find is that they are too big for working in your room and so on and so forth. That makes something that fits. A lot of people make a circle that is as big as their room, and I find that to be often a useful thing to do. And then, of course, there's a question: how do you cast a circle? Well, I use various methods, really depending on mood, but my favorite one has two parts. In one, I take my atame and I walk around, I point it downwards, and then I go around and I will say and I will say, one is for the goddess, and I will point in a circle once, basically turn around and point in a circle. One is for the god, and again pointing around, and then one is for the one all-powerful source around. And when I have done that, I envision that there's this glowing line on the floor where I pointed, and that it rises up and forms a bubble around me and my workspace. So I am standing in a sphere of blue glowing energy. Then I do a ritual where I call the elements. And it's somewhat longer, so I'm not going to just talk about all of it there, but basically then I call the elements, so I have the elemental corners. And that's how I usually set up a circle. And when taking it down again, I just reverse it. I go around again and envision pulling that energy that I made the circle of into the atame, and I say one to thank the goddess, one to thank the god, one to thank the one all-powerful source. And I also then thank the elements and so on. And of course this adds the added benefit that the atame will become very charged. This energy is pulled into it and can then be used for other things. But yeah, the question is, what's the benefits of circle? Well, one, like I said, is that it contains the energy until you are ready to release it. Something I found to be even more useful in that is that it sort of creates that ritual consciousness. You know that you can have the most simple sandwich ever, but when you have it on the beach with your family there and so on, it just tastes better than if you just go into your cupboards and just sit it and eat it while watching TV. Mood has a lot to do with it, and I mean many people have that trigger that they think now it's Christmas. I mean, the Christmas songs and so on and so forth that adds that mood to us and that gets us into that celebratory feeling. Many people's circles do that, and that shifts your consciousness so that it's easier to focus on the ritual, focus on drawing in energies, gathering energies, directing energies, because you get that feeling. And the same within the religious context. It doesn't say anywhere that, yeah, the priest has to wear this uniform and so on. You can have a priest wearing jeans and a t-shirt, but it wouldn't. The ritual helps to give that feeling of holiness. So that's the bonus. The other thing is that, of course, it gives training in energy work. The circle is put up with energy work. So, and it also is a nice way to store energy into your atame. So, yeah. In a lot of systems, circles are used. You have a similar thing within the endless balancing ritual of the pentagram. You have circles, various forms of circles being used in ritual magic. I haven't talked about this there because that's a huge topic and really is too big for one video. I was just sort of scratching the surface of the idea of circles within a pagan context. And really, yeah, they are very, very useful. They are a very useful tool. I would definitely say that to be a good witch, it is very useful to learn how to cast a circle. But are they absolutely necessary? No. I do a lot of little rituals, little spells, and so on without casting a circle. It's not like, oh, but if you don't cast a circle, then the demons are going to eat you. No. Truly, magic isn't that dangerous. I haven't been eaten yet. And really, while a circle do give you some protection, the main function of a circle is that it's a tool to help you focus. Focus energies, focus concentration, focus basically on the holy and spiritual part of what you're doing. So yeah, I would love some comments. I would love to discuss the topic. So yeah, that's about what I wanted to say about it. Circles are very useful, not absolutely necessary. Have a great day. Blessed be.